Good morning and welcome to Morning at NTV. Idris Matusagawa is my name. Today is Valentine's Day, and every Friday we talk about art, and today we are talking about how Valentine blends into art. And in studio I have wonderful guests who are going to serenade you, who are going to give you words of poetry that will get your heart beating and feeling like you need to buy that book of flowers and send it to your Valentines. But to be part of the conversation, go to our social media platforms, that is on Twitter, on Facebook, and everywhere. Any social media platform that you have, just put in the hashtag Morning at NTV and look out for NTV Uganda to be part of the conversation. And well, today is Valentine's, and to start off the conversation again, I will introduce my guests in studio. Good morning, gentlemen and lady.
Good morning.
Hey.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'll start from the far left. Andrew, usual suspect. Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning.
How is your Valentine's Day? What are the plans?
One, it's still way too early to ask me how.
Well, it's already 8 a.m. So many hours have passed by. You could have experienced a few things.
The text. I've not received it. I don't really know what
You don't know. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but it's a good day. And it's also a good day to enjoy it. Like it's always good when Valentine's happens on a Friday.
Yeah.
Because it's heading into
Long weekend.
The long weekend.
Yeah. So
Amazing. Lady.
Yeah.
Gladys Destiny Chaiga.
Yeah.
I hope I pronounced that
Very
right.
well.
You are a poet.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, I'm a poet, as you all know, a spoken word artist. I really love using poetry for different things. But being a Valentine's Day, poetry is sweet when you're in love.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are
so
you in love?
Of course I am.
Of course, with poetry.
With poetry. And
Indeed.
for me, poetry is my wings to fly.
Yeah.
It's my best form of expression. When I'm happy, excited, hurt, angry, it brings different emotions. And for this special day, when you're in love, really, definitely, there's that spark that comes for you to just write and scribble things here and there.
All
so,
right. Andrew,
yeah.
holiday. Wings to fly. The words that poets use. Goliao.
I read them.
I don't think he's allowed to be in love.
Yeah. That's why he didn't get a text message today. And do I need to introduce you, Kenny?
Yes, please.
Do I really?
Yes.
Is there anyone who doesn't know this gentleman here?
I'm telling you, there are a lot of people who don't know me.
Okay. To pretend that you don't know the maestro, the songbird, the Luther Vandross of Uganda. Kenneth Mugabi, good morning.
Good morning.
Wonderful to have you here today. You have a fan who works here. He listens to your music like on repeat, literally.
Wow.
You know, on your channels, the playlist that you create. The dude listens to your music like religiously, and I hope before you leave today you have to meet him.
Definitely, I need to meet him.
That would be a very nice thing to. But how is your Valentine's Day? Did you get a text? But you're in the same boat with
I'm
us.
supposed to write the text.
Yeah, I wrote the
You shouldn't be receiving
I wrote
text.
the text. I sent the text.
Was it received?
Serena is going to understand because we are here with Nava. And also after Nava, I think there's a job where they'll run to Reza. So Reza Forest Park with the barbed wire, a friend of mine who works with them, and he asked me to be part of it, and I'm going to be part of it. Because those are totally two different audiences.
True,
Yeah.
true.
Yes, so,
But love is that way.
no, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Those two different audiences, all joined
By love. Well, wonderful, wonderful. So you are fully booked for the day. Well, to get into the conversation of today, we are talking about how to blend art and Valentine's, the theme, the love, the ideas. For so long, we've had, now I'll start with you, Kenny.
Yes.
For so long, we've listened to songs that are basically love-centered.
Yes.
And when you are listening to a repertoire of music that has been released over the years, I think 75% of the music that we listen to has to do something with love. When you are writing your songs, is that the first idea that comes to you to say, I need to write about love? And do you need to be in the feeling, or you do it as a job and you're good to go?
Surprisingly, my creative process is quite different. I don't try to write about love.
Yeah.
Because I know I have 2 songs I've looked for. Yes, they eventually came.
Yeah.
But they took a lot of time to arrive.
You were searching.
And one of those songs is Nkwegomba.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They took a lot of time to arrive. And I'm like, why? So I understood that when you give yourself up as a vessel to be used, to be useful, not used,
but useful to the society,
a useful vessel
and community.
Not used. You'll be surprised what comes out of you, because you just hear them and then they come, like the song Vubuka. I had it. It came. I wrote it like in just a few minutes, like a few minutes. You cannot. But to do that, you also have to have love for it.
Yeah.
Because this gift is it's a gift, but it can also be a curse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know.
If you don't practice it, it's a curse. If you practice it, it's a gift. And there's one with all the love, the fans, they just reward you. They cannot pay you.
Yeah.
They just
appreciate you.
Yes.
Indeed.
So the love I give this art, people are falling in love.
Yeah.
People have fallen out of love.
Reconciled.
Yes. Because that's what I preach. I preach love, I preach reconciliation, I preach friendship, I preach
Discovery.
Self-discovery. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I preach in my music. And if you listen carefully, I'm also the person, sometimes I'm the person in the hot seat. I am with 100 others.
Yeah. Who relate? Yes. So is it that most of the music that you write, as you are a vessel for the art that you do you always adapt it from personal experience, or is it you pick a topic and you're like, today I want to write about this, and then you scribble down?
It just comes. I can sit and I'm going to write about, today I'm going to write about Kampala. Kampala has a lot of things. I end up writing about where I started from. And I'm like, okay, now where did this song come from? I sat down to write about this, but then for some reason I am diverted into another realm, and I'm like starting to write something else, which is also good, which is also fine, which is also actually surprisingly amazing. But then,
because you never know what
you do not know
going to be a hit.
You do not know who you're talking to until the song is done. But this is on the art side. The audience comes last. Because you're the first listener. Because when you play,
no gamba, do I love this or I don't?
Why love it? If you love it, trust me, the audience will love it.
All right, Gladys.
Yeah.
Your destiny was to be here today.
Today morning. That's true.
As a poet,
yeah.
What's your process? Because Kenneth has just said he's a vessel. He doesn't really have to think so much about these things. The words you use, do you have to open a dictionary and be like, what does this word mean? Or what's your process like?
Okay, first of all, I like what he said. You're a vessel. I consider myself as God's vessel of creativity, because I know he has a lot of creativity to give people, and I have to be among those. So the funny thing is that I did not study literature at school. I didn't like it for academic purpose, just reading it for fun. So poetry came to me not because I studied it in school, but it came to me because I found myself in it. So it's more of a gifting. And my writing process is more of what I feel in my heart, but also inspired by what I see in society. I write from the perspective of life's experiences, not only mine, but others' experiences. For the elements of love-related poems, apart from when those times you think you're in love, because sometimes you may not be, but the emotions, you know, especially around this time of Valentine's, and overtake you, and you just feel you have to write this down. But importantly, for cases where I have had to perform at weddings, I prefer interviewing the person who is dedicating the poem first. Pick their perspective of how they feel about, if it's the gentleman who has requested and it's a dedication to the wife, what do they feel? What do they envision this piece to carry? So having done that interview, then I am able to bring all my creativity to get this poem, to give it life, and be able to perform it. And there are moments where my creativity is spurred by moments of silence. I am the midnight owl. And often people wonder, why midnight owl? Yeah. So I find myself that the times when people are a bit quiet and silent, that world is just asleep, I am restless because I have to birth something. I have to birth a piece. And the process sometimes can take days, sometimes can take 30 minutes, depending on how quick the idea comes. So I cannot say that there's a specific process that I have to go through, but importantly, what is in my heart, what has been spurred in my heart by the Almighty who gives creativity.
What I'm picking different from Kenny is that, for example, when you have to write a poem to do with love, you said you have to feel the love, that in that times when you think you are in love. But he said he doesn't need that.
Well, I didn't say that.
Otandi said.
I didn't say that.
Do you also need to be in love to write a love song?
Well, you need to know how to be in love.
Or have experiences.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's hard to write on a rock heart, really.
And of course, I think much of the art material about love doesn't necessarily have to be about being in love.
Exactly.
Yeah, it could be about losing love. It could be about
not knowing love.
Not knowing love.
Indeed.
Or how it made you feel, even when you're not in there at that particular time. But it's generally about how it feels to be in love, and probably how it feels to lose love. And you could also be the biggest hater
of love. Yes. You're right in that negativity.
Because you see, I think when you...
That's a new hit from Kenneth. Because
I think when you listen to Bruno Mars's Flowers, I don't really think that
about flowers.
I don't really think it's in a moment of being in love. It's in a moment of regret,
loss.
Yeah. So like that's how love is wide open. And at times I usually tell artists that art is entirely about being in love or hating. Whether it's an action film, it's about someone saving someone they love, or someone killed someone they love and now they want to revenge. Like for some reason, even if it's an art piece, it's always from a place of love. Even if it's a political song, it's about your love and hate for the system. Somehow.
So Andrew, you as an entertainment journalist who writes about what Kenneth has done, what Gladys has done, from your perspective, do you feel that when you are consuming the art, the music, the poems that have been put out by these great artists, do you feel that they are literally deeping their life into this art, or do you feel that there is a separation, that you can separate a song that Kenneth has done from Kenneth as a person, you can separate a poem from Gladys? Do you feel that separation? Or is it a blend?
I've covered the two of them. One, unfortunately, I've only I've covered him when I know him. I've covered him when I know him.
Yeah.
So like about the separation, like that becomes tight when you kind of know the person himself. Like it becomes a bit tight.
That gives you better information for my question.
Those are people that you cover when you know nothing about them.
Yes.
The first time I covered her, I knew nothing about her. So it was that whole thing of how it makes you feel, which is the thing about art, and which is the thing about covering art. Like you see, when you're covering politics, like I know they're going to hate what I'm going to say, but I hate the fact that I'll find a hospital without medicine, and then I still have to seek the comment of someone who is probably going to lie to me why there is no medicine. When it comes to art, it's about how their art makes me feel. That informs the way I'm going to write.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, they might even disagree with what I'm writing about, but it's how it made me feel. So at that point, I'm not going to separate the person from their art. It's how it makes me feel. It's what I sell to the audience. If they can find a way of relating with it, then I've done a good job as a journalist.
I remember listening to one of those old songs by the great Celine Dion, and sometimes you listen to this song and the song is called Surrender, and you feel that Celine is in actual pain. She's really feeling whatever is going on. And Kenneth, I would like to ask you, when you are performing your songs, when you are writing them, are you writing to one person, or are you writing to a group of people? Who are you targeting when you are putting down these lyrics? And
you know, it is difficult to write to a group of people, because everyone has their own mind. There's the way they think. There's the way they. We can move together for a long time, but never at a
yes,
you get.
Yeah.
But for some reason we are together. So me, when I'm writing, I focus on one. Remember, you represent over, like let's say, minimum of 10 people.
Yeah.
Those 10 people each also represents a minimum of 10 people.
Yeah.
How many are those? 100.
20. 100.
Yes.
Bad at math.
And those 100 people each also represents 10 people. How many are those?
Why?
So it's a web. Now the reason why I released the album first, yet it wasn't supposed to be the first album, is because I knew that this what I'm doing is not for everyone. Chibuna omo at a time. Chibuna omo at a time. Kati akaimwe ukafuna. There's that first thought that comes in your mind, Nogamba. Kagwanzo kagara. And guess what? Man, I'll take a door here. For some reason, they may be in
Bamchai.
Why? Text message delayed.
No one is like, whoa, how did you know? You didn't know. But for some reason, what way then it was a chicken the way. And actually, we work like that. I can just be in society and just sit around. I just get the feeling of the environment. I get the I know what it is because when you write a song, you know, like the Beethoven pieces out, street strings, horns. There's the way they put everything together. See, but at the same time,
for many.
It is for me. It is easier to communicate to the masses. Surprisingly, it is easier for me to communicate to the masses than to communicate to one person. Yet, when I'm writing,
you're writing to one person.
Yeah.
Yes. It's interesting what Andrew mentioned earlier, that the music, the art, the poems, the most important thing is how they make you feel. Gladys, when you are putting down these words, nowadays people do not want to read. how are you going to make that person feel something with your words? I'm not going to hear a good voice on it, no instruments, it's just words.
Yeah.
How do you then get my feelings to spark?
I think now with that is where earlier you said you have to go to the dictionary and check. Having put your words, really the first thoughts in drafts, it's important to go and beef it up. What are those nice flattery words that somebody will read and like, damn, I like that. I mean, everybody wants to be loved, and the best way you can do that is you have understood how people want to be loved, what kind of words they want to be loved in. You play with those words. That is the only way you can get them to feel it, because they understand that language of love that you're using. And moving away from the text and all that, also there is the audio. For some people, they really love hearing love. And for those who have been able to have EPs, videos, and also poetry shows, which is one of the things that I like doing, and being able to see life, the emotions, the reactions, how you feel when somebody is watching and you're performing. I mean, I think that's one of the most best things you can do for somebody to feel the emotions beyond just the paperwork, how you convey that message to them.
So Gladys, since I believe most of our audience is not familiar with poetry.
Yes.
Oh, how do you how do you publish it? Is it written online? Do you perform it?
So far, I have done performances. I am going to release my first collection of poetry this year, media, and hopefully it will get in the hands of these amazing people and as well. But what I've done mostly is performance. And because I love with a twitch of creativity, I even tomorrow I have a love Mapenzi Beyond Borders poetry production at Alias Frances. And this time round, we are not just looking at romance as much as today flowers are everywhere, chocolates and all significance of romance. But that twist of creativity is looking at love across different spectrums of borders, across cultures, across countries, love for your country, love for society, self-love, not forgetting toxic love. So tomorrow's show is one of my gifts to Kampala, sort of to say, and seeing 3 countries come on one stage. We have representatives from Kenya and South Sudan and Uganda. So it's love beyond not just the geographical borders of the countries, but the things that people hardly talk about concerning Valentine. I mean, who would think of toxic love? Who would think of self-love or love for one's country in such an environment? So we are expanding that, and those are the kind of things that I love to punch in, to see that people look at poetry not in one lens. If it is a love show, or it's not just one lens of romance, but looking at also other things that convey the message of love amongst us.
Indeed. Earlier on the show, I was with Priscilla, and we were asking the question of what is love? And on that note, Andrew, what is love? What do you understand by love?
He has not yet received this text.
That's a hard one. But
should it be?
I think it's kind of complicated to put in a few words. Love is kind of everything. You know it, like you don't even need a certain age to know it. Like you know it even when you're still a child. Definition of it.
Okay, how do you know that you are experiencing love? You're either in love or you're loved.
You just know it.
How?
You
Andrew!
By instinct.
You know it.
How do I know? How do you know?
Like, for example, you just know it. Like, I don't really think for example, when it comes to, say, love for our parents, siblings, and everything, I don't think we even have those signs. For some reason, you feel it.
Kenny,
yes.
Let me leave Andrew alone. Clearly, he's lost for words.
Oh, yeah.
How would you define love?
The first time I've seen Andrew
Speechless.
how is a journalist? Anyway,
That would be a very short article.
For Valentine's.
The editor will be like, what is this? That's what I have. But love. Well, twin chemicals in our bodies.
Yes.
And once that love is given to us, we react in a different way. Of those who have never received love the way the other person giving has received it. There are those who have never actually experienced the so-called love. There are those who have experienced it, but they don't understand whether it is the love or not the love. There are those who but for some reason, I think love is a commandment. We are told to love your neighbor as you love
Yourself.
But they don't tell us why. They don't tell us why we should love our neighbors as we. Meaning you first love yourself.
Before you
love yourself. Because the best thing to do is to love yourself for someone else. Already spreading love without even saying anything. Just
because you have loved yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
So that's what I feel, that's what I know for now, because the word love, it's not tangible.
Yeah.
It's not this, it's like music.
So is it a feeling?
No. It's a commandment.
It's a commandment from God.
Yes.
Gladys, what is love?
Oh my God! I as we were waiting in the lobby, I was watching you ask a question like, "What is love?" Like, okay. I just like Andrew, I may not have.
You're lost for words.
I may not have the exact words to say this is love and all that, but I am confident that in every human being there is a deposit of what we think is love. They are wired to receive that appreciation, that adoration, that element of being treasured, that element of being desired. They are wired to want it, to receive it, and they're also wired to give it. So for me, that element is what I would say love. But the tricky part is, how do I know
that you are?
That I need it actually, or that I need to give it, and to who do I give it? When he talked of loving yourself, it really hit a note. We have very many people who are walking around with deep voids that they are waiting for others to fill. Yet it would be much better if they filled a certain level of that cup by the things that, for example, discovering your purpose.
How full.
Discovering what you like doing, your talents, pursuing that which you feel brings you fulfillment in a purposeful way. Then you leave a small gap for the others to fill in a way that even if they are not feeling it at the pace you want it, you feel you are fulfilled. You feel there is love that is in you, that you're able to give yourself, but also able to give to those that are around you. So that is how I would really say love is. But for the lovebirds today, please give how your spouse or your loved ones feel loved. That's where I think the issue of love languages comes. Because the way I feel loved may not be the way the other person feels loved. So it's key to understand, how does Destiny's special person feel loved, which may not be the same way Destiny feels. I may be good at writing poetry, but maybe he does not like, it is not his favorite cup of tea. So it's a matter of seeing how do you fill each other's cups, while you know what ingredients to put there.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Andrew, any thoughts on the question yet?
He's in love.
One, I will tell you, the way I usually tell people that art is the way of life.
Yes.
I think I could say the same about love.
Love is the way of life?
It's the way of life. Everything that we end up doing, be it business, political, it's usually driven by love. Trust me, Donald Trump is making these decisions because of love. Even the hate is driven by love for something. So it's just the way of life.
Well, so we are in agreement that love is important in the world, in our lives, in whatever aspects that we try to accomplish. So Kenneth, I'll ask you, what is the contribution, and how does your music that you do maintain, or what contribution does it have to keeping love amongst communities, amongst spouses, amongst partners? What do you think your contribution is as a musician to love?
To love. My job is to come out of society, look at society, then go back to society and present what you saw in society.
Okay.
Basically, that's what I do.
So you just reflect and be like, this is what I'm saying.
See, like now, the challenge is here. We are in society. People behave totally differently. If you do not know your own heart, you become society. You become society. So the art of coming out of society, observing society, then going back to society to present what society, because abasinga tulina obujjonjo wano mu maaso lete tubula now that is society kati bw'ofuluma mu nogamba naye tulina obujjonjo so the love you give yourself is not that different from this what you're doing or Kwijam society. No love. So my contribution is what I know love is. Listen to Kwegomba, the best example is in Kwegomba or Ugandan album. Ugandan album begins with Oliwa. Oliwa is a youth looking for, I don't know, money, love, I don't know, something, Oliwa. Then song number 2 is Nkakwanyenja. Oh, Akachijabi. How do I eat? Song number 3 is Nkwegomba. Now he has found words to express. Song number 4. Are you really that I'm looking for? Are you? That's called Ugandan. Are you Ugandan? Are you really that? Song number 5 is Omeze Chigo. You have now. But now song number last. Well, most of us go off is, are you ready to fight for what you are looking for in song number 1? That is number 1. So my contribution to society in love is I tell stories. Either kanetereze oba terenkwatako. So basically that's my contribution.
So you remind us of what we want, how to keep it.
I don't know what you want.
No, because you remind us. Because you see, the way you've told the story, the way you've told, explained the songs, how they follow each other, is that I think most times I've found that so many people yearn for certain things. You would find Gladys, Andrew saying, I want to get married, I want a companionship, blah, 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 blah. Then when you get that person, you literally then forget that one day you were praying.
You were praying to get
this person. And it's very easy to say, I'm tired of you, and I'm moving on. And Gladys, since your destiny, and your destiny is to keep love amongst people, do you think poetry is important in keeping love amongst societies and amongst couples and amongst families?
Yes, yes.
How important is it?
I mean, just like what you've said, that sometimes you forget how hard you worked to get this person.
Yeah.
I mean, once in a while, when you're out of words, just ask Destiny to write for you a poem. And you just add in that gift, add in that flower, add in whatever, any day in a text. I've done that. Last year I was not physically present. I was for school somewhere, and I had this burning poem, and it needed to be out there in whatever way. So I tried my first Valentine's Day poetry sale. So I advertised amongst my friends, instead of using emojis, just designed the pieces. Those who wanted, you pay, you get it, then you print in whatever way you add it to the different gifts you're buying. For me, getting the feedback was more fulfilling than the money, because there are some people who have used almost up their words, and they want to spark that feeling of fire again, of being set ablaze again, which is one of my favorite love poems. Set ablaze. And poetry is really key in seeing how do we convey this message in a different way, to revive that love, to revive that feeling, to maintain the fact that I am interested in you regardless of how I don't know how to say it right now. I am still interested in us moving forward, in us continuing with the fire that we lit times back, in us appreciating and filling our voids, because I believe most people really love words and gifts, of course, but the words matter a lot compared to, and the deeds compared to all these other things. There is affirmation in all that. So poetry is still key, especially for those that understand the concept and value it. You'll find they will love it. And it's our mandate right now as poets to see how do we get more people on board to love it.
Why do you think most people are not so interested in poetry? Is it because it's hard? Is it complicated? Hard to understand? I think because most of us use a lot of jargons that some people may not really understand, especially those who are not so learned. And also poetry has been categorized in terms of literature. In school, you'll find people are studying this Shakespeare and all these English poets, and they're kind of really writing. Aristotles of this world.
So you'll find that somebody who wants it in Luganda or in Madi or in Acholi or Luganda will find that something so foreign to themselves, because we have not reached the point. Of course, we are making efforts. There are many people who are, especially Ugandan poets, who are dissecting these barriers, doing poems in local languages, for children, for different categories. So for quite long, poetry has been put that far for the English-speaking people who understand the big jargons in English. But when it is made simpler, more people get to like it.
Why are the jargons though? Like, if you understand as a poet that when you use these complicated phrasings and wordings and vocabulary, people are not going to understand what you're saying, then why do you stick to that?
For long, that is what we have been taught, because that's what we have
you can't
seen.
Change this.
You can't change it now.
The orthodox way.
We are now changing it. But for long, from schools and all that, what we have observed is that is how we have been taught. And looking at the fact that really it is recent where people are now breaking the barriers across mindsets to see that this is not how we're supposed to do things for centuries. So now we are bringing it to simpler terms.
Nice.
Yeah.
Andrew,
Yeah.
you as an observer of these arts, poetry and music, do you think art has played an important role in keeping love amongst our families and communities?
That's usually, it's very subjective, and it's subjective to the listener because because even music and words speak to people differently. Like, it's very funny how a breakup poem with just the change of the last lines can become the sweetest love poem there is. And it's funny how a love song with the same words with just a change of tone can be a very different song. Like, case in point, Eli Wamala's Sacramento and Judith Babile's Sacramento. Same song, same words, different tone. One is celebratory, one is celebratory. Is that the right one?
That is the
Celebratory, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and the other one is in regret. Eli Wamala is regretting. Judith Babile is celebrating. Same song, same words, just a change in tone. In how so that's like, it's usually up to the people to use the art to either keep love alive or just break it all apart. But on what she was saying about poetry, and when you ask why people do not relate with it as much, funny thing is that poetry was part of the African culture.
Yes,
indeed.
The folklore,
right? The folklore were part of this setting. But then somehow something changed somewhere, that by the time we were born, if you were to ask any of us their first time experiencing poetry, it was in English.
Not me.
Neither me.
Not me.
Like
neither
my first time experiencing it in school.
Andrew, let me tell you something. I think
there was an injustice done to you.
Actually, the first time I experienced poetry is Ono Namagalo Namagalo, Ono Yawedekela Namagalo, and I'm sure you've heard of that.
Yes, but I was coming to that.
Yes.
Yeah, that we have a lot of poetry in Luganda and in other indigenous languages that people somehow do not actually know that it's poetry.
Oh yeah.
That somehow you need to tell them that
this is poetry.
What you're listening to is poetry. What most people recognize as poetry is what they first heard somewhere in school, and it was in English. And for some reason, whenever we were told to write a poem, we knew you had to somehow write it in English, because they would tell us, this is poetry, this is kutontoma. Like, they kind of made them feel like they were very, very different things. So we grew up, we started seeing poetry performances, and most people thought it was very different. Like, I took my sister to a poetry show. Mitch's.
Yes, Mitch Manifest.
Yeah, and trust me, I literally dragged her there because she kept saying, I'm forcing her into my things, into my art things.
Your things!
My things. And then after the show, she asked me, when is the next one? so like, we just need to expose more people to this vernacular one, which has become very popular of late. But at the moment, most people think it's a very, very stark difference. Even when they listen to some GNL rhymes, which are necessarily poetry, they do not really associate it with poetry. They believe poetry is from the mountains of
Ooh la la!
But I think, to just from what you said, I think it's high time, especially in our indigenous settings, in our communities, in our families, we start recognizing that this thing existed even before English came to play. And that is one of the key things that I really look forward to. As much as I speak a lot of English and also speak Madi, I am really interested in seeing, with Uganda's rich cultural background of different languages, it is really key for us to strive that if we have poems in English, how do we translate them maybe to some local languages, and those in local language, how do we encourage people to bring them forth? But when we talk of local languages, I don't want to forget my special category of people, the people who use sign languages and the blind who need Braille. Those ones are always on my heart to see. Actually, tomorrow we are going to have a sign language interpreter at the show, because we have some people who are coming who need it. So we need to also look into those categories, that beyond just our languages, our mother tongues, how do we serve the other special category in our communities? Yeah. So
because today is Valentine's Day, it will be amiss of me ending the show without asking Kenneth. I know you mentioned it earlier on that you're going to be in 2 places.
Yeah.
But just give us a recap of what your fans, those people who enjoy your music, where will they catch you today? What are your plans after that?
Serena, I'll be supporting my sister Nava. Yeah, Serena, please come through. Oh, it's already sold out.
Yeah, it's already sold out.
See you then. And after that, after Nava, I'll go to our first park with That's where I'm going to be with friends of mine, Barbed Wire Band. I love band. I grew up with band, so where there's band, I just go. And after that, I'll go home.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. We believe you.
we listen, we don't judge. We listen, we don't judge.
Yeah, we don't judge.
Fun fact, by the way, Kenneth. The first time I saw you, before you were a mega star, I think it was back in 2012, 11, 10-ish. I saw you performing at the famous Akasha.
You were still in high school?
No, I'm an old guy. How was it? You were performing at Akasha Avenue with your guitar. You were playing, I think either it was Christmas Eve or something.
Yeah. Yes.
You remember that?
It was a Christmas pop-up. With Sandra Subi.
No, that day you were alone.
Cab, the former cab, this used to be
Akasha, the mall.
The mall.
The mall itself, Akasha Mall. Owned by the stairs, the elevators.
Wow.
Yeah? You were there, you were with your guitar and you were performing.
Wow.
That was the first time I saw you.
I think that was later on. I think.
No, for me it was the first time I saw you. Yeah. But you hadn't become Mr. Kenny.
In 2000, when I remember 2000 and you said 2001?
I'm not sure, but early days.
10,
very early days.
11. Yeah.
You remember Joe?
Kahiri.
Yes.
Yes, that period.
Oh, he's saying that was Oasis Mall.
Oasis?
Yes, not Acacia.
Not Acacia.
It was Oasis Mall.
I'm confusing the two malls.
Yeah.
An activation of a network.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was a network and a coffee. It's the way they did the thing. I remember now that day. I was with Happy K. We performed for 5 hours.
Wow! Wow! 5 hours.
5 hours. 3 hours there, and then we had to go to Goa. I
still perform. What a long day it was.
Oh, it was a very long day.
Well, Gladys, Destiny, Chaiga, where are you going to be today?
Today, from here, I'm going to welcome my team from Kenya who are on their way for tomorrow's show. I'll be at Alliance Francaise, which is our venue for tomorrow's show. Just making sure that everything is set up and in place. And we will be also having Bugolobi. There's a friend that has invited us. The show is called Spoken, where we shall be doing some Valentine in the evening. And importantly, I know today people are really everywhere, and we don't want you to miss sending that flower or that text or the music note to your loved ones. That's why we put our show tomorrow.
Okay.
And it will be at Alias Frances Bukoto from 5 p.m. We are going to feature all these spectrums of love we have talked about. So tomorrow is also Saturday. So
Friday.
It's Saturday.
Oh
yes, today is Friday.
Yeah.
So people should be able to come through and enjoy this moment of love and see what poetry feels like for those who are new. So yeah, that is the plan. I'm looking forward to mainly tomorrow.
Lovely.
Yes.
Andrew.
Yo.
Text. Where are you going to be?
I think, okay, for love.
And not love.
For love and then for the appreciation of art.
It did.
We're going to be here. Naval Grace concert. It's a very fast concert. And let's appreciate the fact that she has given us quite a very classic catalogue.
Yeah. She has.
Which we still celebrate. Like, some people don't even know when some of these songs were released, but for some reason they relate with them. So I'll be here.
Perfect. Well, gentlemen, lady, thank you so much for coming through, for having this wonderful conversation.
You're welcome.
Happy Valentine's to
Happy Valentine's
all of you.
too. Thank you.
And well, you who has been watching us, before I go, I have a birthday shout out. And this goes to, may your birthday be a reflection of your unique and totally amazing self. On your special day, may you feel as awesome and extraordinary as you make everyone else feel every day. Poet. Happy birthday, Sauda, aka Muzaffaru, my amazing friend. Wishing you a day filled with all things that make you the incredibly wonderful person that you are. From Barbara. Well, happy birthday, Sauda. And to all of you who are celebrating your birthdays today, and happy Valentine's Day once again. Well, to have a recap of the conversation that we've had, go to our website, which is www.ntv.co.ug, or our social media platforms, and use the hashtag morning@ntv. Well, happy Valentine's Day. Go and have some fun and enjoy responsibly. Your life is very important, so keep it safe.